Here we go then, guys, just one last course vlog of 2022, a year where I've made quite a decent improvement on my game, and once again we're looking obviously to break 80 here at Freshwater Bay. Tee shot here a little bit short off the tee with the 9 iron, maybe should have teed that up to be honest. Conditions probably weren't right for trying to play that off of the mat, as you'll see the occasional spray come up when I'm hitting the ball. It's a little bit damp today, or on this particular occasion, but nice little chip on there with the 56 degree, leaving us just about a foot really. It's a gimme in reality, but we'll put it away for the par and move on to the par 4 second. Now bear in mind I'm running the 2 camera setup again today, and for some reason I had some issues throughout the course of this round. The camera mounted to my bag hasn't got sound on it for one reason or another, and at one point I had to swap that camera out because it decided it wasn't going to record any footage. So there are obviously going to be a couple of shots missing, but what wouldn't be one of my course vlogs if that wasn't the case, would it, to be perfectly honest? So 3-wood off the tee there, a little bit short, and we go again with a 3-wood, but unfortunately it's the first top of the day. As you can probably tell from that angle, the ball was well below my feet, and I was really trying to force something that wasn't really on. It should have been a 7-wood rather than a 3-wood there. But we've got gap wedge in hand. See if we can get it in close, but again, a little bit untidy. I think the shot trace is a little bit adrift there because it's not quite as far left as it appears. And we've ended up on the side of the bank next to the green. So again, 56 degree in hand, difficult little shot here with the ball below our feet and trying to just get it on and as close as possible. And again, a very good effort with the wedge. So we're already scrambling. Not too bad though, a bogey there on that hole considering we had a top with a 3-wood. As we move on to the very picturesque hole 3 here, 160-ish yards, but plays a little bit longer than that if you're going for the green. Trouble with this one is he's trying to hold this green. So I think I had a 7 iron in hand on this particular day, and as you can tell we're just a little bit long, and we've got the wedge again. A nice little bump onto the green there. It has gone past the pin, which was always the plan, but maybe not quite that far. Obviously this leaves us a tricky shot coming back with the putter, because this is a very slopey green, and we nearly get the putt for the par, but it just slides by. Uphill par 4 here, plays 310 yards on the card, but more like 350, 360 when you take into account the slope. If you look at the big mound in the centre in the distance, that's the aim point. But this tee shot, unfortunately, we're going to just drag it a bit left, and to be honest, a bit short. Wasn't happy with that shot at all. It really did come up short, and wasn't my best effort by a long stretch. Only 150 yards with that 3-wood, and then another top there, this time with a 7-wood. But it has put us in range, it did get up there, so wedge it on. And there we go, there's the first incident of no footage, but we did manage to 2-putt from there, and we get out with about just the single bogey. Moving on to hole 5, 7 iron in hand. Bit of a cut there rather than my usual draw, and I think that's what's took the sting out of it. We're just a bit short right here. Gap wedge, trying to keep it low and bump it on in there. Worked to some extent, but didn't quite get it on up there. And another good putt there from distance. We managed to get another par on the scorecard. Always a tricky hole, this one. 384 yards. It might not seem that far, but as you can tell by the gradient, you've got to hit it up high onto the shelf to have any chance of getting close to the green. with your second shot. So that was a 3-wood off the tee. As we move into the 7-wood here from about 220 yards. Slope adjusted, I reckon we're probably more like about 230, 240 to the centre. So I know that we're not going to get there, but I want to get it up high and try to keep it relatively safe rather than down by the bunker to the left that you can see here. So objective achieved. A nice little pitch on here, but maybe not as far as we really wanted. I think the camera angle there doesn't really do that justice as to how far's left. I think there's about 15, 16 foot here for the par, and that's a terrible, terrible first putt. Way off target. And we've pushed that one right. So there's the first 3 putt on the card of the day. Not an achievement that I really like to unlock very often, and it ends up obviously in a Michael Doublé. Moving on to hole 7, this par 4, I'm trying out the mini driver to be honest, I think this is the first time that I actually had it in the bag. Really decent effort here, not obviously huge distance off the tee, but good enough to get us going. 3-wood, absolutely knuckle this one though. This actually goes further than the mini driver, but it does plateau out on the other side of that hill, so that's why we've got a bit of run out. Wedge in, and that's got us pin high to the right, and this is where we landed. So luckily I've got this bit of the footage, but unfortunately it's going to cut off now because that's where the camera died and we had to switch over to just using the solo camera for the rest of the round. So from here on in we shouldn't have too many issues, only operator error. So mini driver out again here on hole 8. Decent drive, but we have pushed it a bit down the left hand side. Like to see a bit more yardage out of it if you could. Ideally like to be up on that marker post or beyond, but the conditions aren't conducive to hitting our longest drives on this particular day anyway. Ball was slightly above my feet, as you could tell, as I fell off of that one, but a decent enough connection with a 7-wood there. Leaves us with a wedge in hand. Nicely flighted into the green. But it has given us a bit of tricky work here with the putter again. And again, another putt that I've turned the face closed on the stroke. So that went left, and luckily we dropped that one for the bogey. Hole 9, 328 yards. We've got the mini driver in hand. See if we can get this one away down the centre of the fairway. Yeah, that's a good drive. Not too bad. Around the 200-yard marker with that drive. Leaves us about 180 into the green. Don't know what I'm talking about there. It's 120 into the green. And we pushed that a little bit left of target, but not bad at all. Did contemplate using the putter here, but I was a bit worried that we'd get tangled up in the fringe, so decided to go with the chipped option, and a little bit too much juice on that one, but it has given us the opportunity to put the next one away for par. Not too long a putt here, and there we go. We round out the front 9 with a par. So moving on to the back 9, hole 10, as we head back towards the clubhouse is 306 yards. Drivable for the big boys, I'd imagine, but not for me, that's for certain. Another drive that's peeled off slightly down the right hand side into the rough. Again, in the summer would have been much longer, but stops almost immediately at about 195. And we're going here with a 9-iron. Nothing for being short really, might as well go for it, as the flag is right at the back. We managed to get it all the way back out there, and it's another chip in here that goes relatively well. Probably the same sort of distance as we had on the last putt. But unfortunately this time we just push it slightly left of target and we have to settle with a bogey. Par 5 11th is 480 yards off of this tee box. You can probably see I'm 2 clubs length back because I wanted a clear run at this. That tee box is pretty downtrodden under the conditions, so just moved it back behind the blocks. Another 195 yard drive, and now we've got, sorry, it was a 205 yard drive, and now we've got 7 wood in hand, which I've absolutely nutted. That was about 190. As we get the wedge in hand again, we've got 80 odd yards to the pin, and we've gone right at it, which was a dangerous scenario if I'm being perfectly honest, because as you can see that flag is perched as far back and left as you really could have it. Good speed on this putt, but it just drifts wide of target, but it leaves us with a tap in for par. Back-to-back par 5s on at Freshwater, so 499 yards here. The target is over the bunkers, which are in the centre of the fairway. Get a decent drive away here and you can catch the shoot, which is exactly what we do, and it's the longest drive of the day by some margin. 236 yards according to my tracking off of Arccos, and we've got the 7 wood in hand here. We can catch a flyer here, then we could get ourselves close to the green. It's a nice shot, but it's a bit pushed right, which was a bit unexpected, to be honest, because my feet were below the ball. Right, so we ended up in the footpath here, so we're just going to take a bit of relief. And unfortunately I didn't realise I was filming this, so when I walk back to the bag now we pressed the camera off, but I did chunk that 56 degree. So we're left here with another chip from a bit closer range. Unfortunately we catch the slope on the front edge of the green, and it gives it a bit of a rocket boost a few yards further than I think it really deserved to be. But nevertheless we got a putt here for par. Again, good speed, but it's just drifted right of target, and that will leave us with a bogey on this one. Lovely picturesque hole 13 here, as you can see the cliffs in the distance. What's not to love about playing golf on this particular course? 2 fairways on this course. It's split between the left hand side, and the right hand side forms the fairway of the 6th hole, so you have to be careful if you're going to go down the right hand side, because you might have to shout a member or two, but that's the route we decide to take. Another long drive, sort of timing this mini driver up now, and that was about 230 yards again, leaving us 80 to the flag. 56 degree in hand. Fire one in there. It's a bit left of target, but it's on the green. No drama. We've got a birdie putt. Let's see if we can sink this one. So again, pretty decent speed. It was on line. If we'd have hit it, it would have gone in. But we didn't, but we'll happily take a par. We have a picturesque hole here. Hole 14 is the drop. I've put the camera up on the top ledge so that you can see the entirety of this hole. Obviously can't do this in the summer so much because we don't have the height to work with, but hitting a 7-iron here. I'm always caught between clubs because it's realistically between an 8 and a 7 for me to this flag, and we've carried this one a little bit too far. Pitch mark is on the right hand side, you can see in the green, which I'll fix in a moment, and just for reference I'll show you where the tee box is up on the top there, just so you can see how severe the drop is hit down to this particular part of the course. So we chip on there, and it's another putt that has nearly dropped in, but not to be, and we card a bogey on what is supposed to be the easiest hole on our course. I'm not so sure that's accurate, but never mind. As we move on to another par 3 here, hole 15. This one is around about 175 yards. We've got the 7 wood, and it's a full hit with the 7 wood. That might be big. As I just said on camera there, though, I thought it might have gone a bit big. Luckily, it landed soft. Decent put down the hill. And we just about tied it up for par. Cheeky backdoor job. Okay, so hole 16, 260 yards. There's plenty of ways to play this, but out of bounds all down the right hand side means that going for it is always a tricky predicament if you've got the wind coming in off the left, which we had on this day. So I bailed out and I took an 8 iron off the tee. What I should have done here is I should have took more club, because I chunked this, and I was trying to take the big number out of play by not ending up out of bounds, which technically you'll see that that's what occurs, but it could have been a whole lot better as well if that second shot had been a little bit longer and we'd have been on the green for 2. But that's the way it is. We are now putting for 4, and again, poor putt. Open the face, or close the face should I say, and we end up with a bogey. But I do feel that even though we ended up with a bogey there, we did take the big number out of play, because 3 off the tee makes that an exceptionally difficult hole to then make a comeback on. Bit of a wipey fade there with a 6 iron up the hill here. .56 degree again here. And I'm really happy with that because we had no landing room to work with, as you can see. Just a little bit past the pin, and we managed to put it in for the par. So let's close this round out as we look back at the camera there, just to make sure that the thing's recording. Mini driver in hand again. And that's the worst shot with this driver all day long. Still manages to get it about 200 yards with a wipey fade, but wasn't entirely happy with the swing. Although, look, centre of the fairway, what more really could you want from it, I guess? Just some more distance, ideally. So we've got the 7 wood here, taking aim. Long way out. And we've hit that further than the driver. That went 220. We were basically flag high to the left, and we're just chipping on here with the 56. Bit speedy, bit too much juice, leaves us about a 8-footer to get par. And unfortunately Neil's decided he's going to stand in the way of the camera, but that's not a problem. We can still see what's going on. We don't make the putt, but we do tap it in for a bogey. And a thoroughly enjoyable last round of the season, and we did manage to score 80. Unfortunately, we needed that par putt on the last to break the 80 marker, but nevertheless, 7 pars in a round is not bad going, especially in the conditions. You've got to remember that we're in the depths of winter right now, although obviously the temperatures and the conditions aren't as bad as they could be. It does still make play a little bit tricky at this time of the year. And I think the big takeaway from this round, and where I've made the biggest improvements over the course of this season, has been the reduction in the bigger numbers. Reduction in doubles, trying to play more strategically. I had 1 double in that round, and you can tell because of the scorecard, and you could tell that there was much more potential out there. We had a couple of times where I've left put short or just right or left of the hole by just a few inches. A couple of miss hits in the round. I think we had 2 tops, which is a bit unlike me, but they're in there. But I'm really happy with my progress this year. And in fact, I'm going to show you my stats from this year if anybody's interested. So at this point last year, I was a 24.3 handicap. This year we've worked down towards a 14.6. Now bear in mind I've taken no lessons. It's all work that I've done behind the scenes, either in improving my swing, but mainly where I feel I've made gains is on the mental aspect of the game, and being able to let go of the bad shots and move on to the next one and just do better from there on inwards. And as I mentioned earlier, reduction in the higher numbers and mainly double bogeys in my case is where the scores are always going to be better round by round. So I hope you've enjoyed that video, and if you have, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be doing more content throughout 2023, and whilst obviously Freshwater Bay is my home course, I will predominantly film on that location. I will try to get to other courses as well, and put up vlogs from other courses around both the Isle of Wight and elsewhere.